As you are keenly aware, I'm sure Israel and Hezbollah exchanged fire throughout today with dueling airstrikes as the region there is bracing for a possible direct attack on Israel from Iran. It's all in retaliation for the killing of Hamas and Hezbollah leaders last week. In fact, last night, a rocket attack on a U.S. airbase in western Iraq wounded several American troops, and the U.S. Defense Department blamed the attack on Iranian proxies, calling it a, quote, dangerous escalation, end quote. Well, joining me now to discuss this and more is Congressman Randy Weber. He serves on several committees, including the Energy and Commerce Committee, but he is also the co-chair of the House Bipartisan Task Force for Combating Anti-Semitism. He represents the 14th Congressional District of Texas. Congressman Weber, welcome back to Washington Watch. Great to see you, my friend.
Thank you, Jody. Good to be with you as always.
Well, listen, all of us right now are, with every passing day, watching the situation in Israel as they are bracing for what appears to be an imminent attack from Iran. What's the latest that you know? What can you tell us?
Well, here's the thing. We've watched this for a long time, as you well know, and I appreciate you noticing that we are all part of that caucus, anti-Semitism caucus. So we've been watching this with a great degree of interest. I'm going to go back a little bit, Jody, to the killing of Soleimani. If you remember when Trump was in office, and Lord, don't we need him back, they found out Soleimani, who was one of the main terrorist killers, plotters in the IRGC, was on vacation. They took him out with a missile strike. And I'll tell you a fun story about that, Jody. We were having dinner with Lindsey Graham, Senator Graham, 6 or 7 of us members of the House, a couple of months back. He told about playing golf with Trump, and Trump said, I'm thinking about killing Soleimani, Lindsey. What do you think? Lindsey said, sure. So 4 hours later, Soleimani was dead, give or take. And so then Mark Thiessen was on Fox News several months ago, Jody, and said, I hadn't heard this, that the Trump administration had sent a message back channels to Iran saying that if y'all retaliate over this, the next missile strike you see will be in Tehran. So I think if we had Trump in office, we'd be in a lot better shape. I'm glad to see that the administration is sending more firepower over there to the Middle East. We only hope that they're serious and that they mean it, that we can literally have Israel's back so that if and when that attack does occur, we are there to help protect them.
Yeah, and it's not just the attacks on Israel and what appears to be an imminent threat there, but as I mentioned a while ago, just last night, there was an attack on a U.S. air base that wounded several American troops. And here, let me just play, if you would get clip number 2 ready for me. I want to play this for you, Congressman Weber. This is Karine Jean-Pierre and what she said about that attack earlier.
The United States condemns the attack on the al-Assad base yesterday. Our hearts go out to the service members who were injured, and we are hoping for a speedy recovery. We will respond to any attack against our personnel in a manner and place of our choosing.
All right, so what are your reaction to this? I mean, they're saying we're going to respond to this. Is that blowing smoke, or what do you think?
Well, there was about 100 times that they had attacked some of our bases somewhere before the Biden administration finally did something. I think what we should do is anytime there's one of those missile strikes or attacks, we ought to obliterate the ground, choose a number in a 5-mile radius, wherever it came from, or 10-mile radius. If we've got satellite vision, if we've got vision up there, we ought to follow these assailants, these terrorists, these murderers, and we ought to literally wipe them off the face of the earth. Every single time, not just, we'll get there if it happens again. It's had been a time of our choosing, a place of our choosing. We ought to send the signal loud and clear immediately, if not sooner.
Well, and that's what we have all heard over and over and over. And it is a reality that part of the world only understands strength. And when they sense weakness, they're all over it. And much of what's happening right now, literally around the world for that matter, but particularly right here in the Middle East, as we're discussing now, is because of weakness from our current administration and they just don't believe there's going to be any consequences for them doing whatever they want to do. Is that kind of an accurate picture from your perspective?
Well, it is, Jody, and I would add this to it. You're right on track, and I would add this to it. It's not just administration. The Democrats are fueling this fire. I mean,
point.
it's unbelievable. When Benjamin Netanyahu came to address the joint meeting of Congress, it depends on what numbers you want to use. Some estimates as high as over 100 and something congressional Democrats boycotted that meeting. And as you know, the vice president was not even at that meeting. She had something more important to do. So what they're doing is they're sending a signal to the rest of the world, and to Israel, by the way, that they no longer feel it's important to be part of Israel's defense and be a good ally and a good partner with Israel. And to me, Jody, that's scary.
Yeah, absolutely. And unfortunately, we've got less than 2 minutes here. But I mentioned this yesterday, but a recent report has revealed that the U.S. supposedly mistakenly has given some $239 million of taxpayer money to the Taliban. And all this has happened since the botched withdrawal from Afghanistan. Your reaction to that? I mean, we're funding the bad guys.
Well, and not only that, but you recall we left them, it depends on what estimates you want to use, somewhere near 80 billion with a B dollars of equipment, of weapons, of vehicles, of all kinds of things that the Taliban can use. And you're right, the only thing they understand is force. I'm proud of Israel for taking out Hezbollah leaders. I don't care. I'm glad they're doing it in Tehran, quite frankly. I'm glad that they're doing it all over. I'm just want them to keep taking them out. I want the United States to keep backing them. And you know this, Jody, as a devout Christian, as an evangelical Christian, the Bible says, God says he will bless whoever blesses Israel, and whoever curses Israel, he will curse. Jody, I know which side of that equation we need to be on.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Congressman Randy Weber from Texas. Always an honor to have you on the program, and always good to see you, my friend. Thank you.
Thanks for what y'all do, Jody.